This is Abundantly Clear, a Nicole podcast designed to help you further understand the concept of abundance and put it into practice to build the business and life of your dreams. We'll be breaking barriers of conditioned belief, the standard rules of marketing, and empowering you to achieve real success, allowing you to make a greater impact and live a fulfilled, purpose-driven life with ease. Welcome to the conversation, the stories, the science, and the synergy of living life abundantly clear. Now, on to today's episode.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Abundantly Clear. Today we're going to talk about how communication creates flow in your business. This is a good one because I see a lot of business owners have these really, honestly, they create these crazy expectations of themselves for what they should be delivering to their clients. And it sets people up for so much stress. So we're going to look at an example of this and see how adding just an element of communication into the process can set not only you, as in you, the business owner, but also the client up for so much more success. The biggest thing that I see in this breakdown of communication is really wanting and having that desire to help everyone win. So all business owners have this. We as humans have this drive to accomplish and to achieve and to get things done. And because of this, we have a tendency to put a lot of pressure on ourselves in ways that aren't necessarily the best for us. So that's not necessarily something that fulfills us at the end of the day. This looks like having someone come to you, if you're a service-based business, whether you're an agency or a copywriter or a coach, and you're getting on a sales call and you're about to close the call, and you do close it, and then you start doing work with this client or this small business, whatever it is that you work with, and their expectations for what you can do for them are really big. But you don't say anything, you just kind of nod your head and hope that you can deliver and hope that you can make it happen. For example, you're a business coach, you have a client that comes to you and they want to make 5 figures next month, but they don't have an offer in place, they don't have an audience, they don't have anything. But they're expecting you to make sure that you make them 5 figures next month. And you don't really say anything, you just stay quiet, and you've done it before with people, so you hope that you can do it for them. But where we need to take responsibility of this as business owners to set ourselves up for success is to look at where your client is when they come into your container. Give yourself a tool to gauge this. Give yourself something so that you can establish how far you really can take the client and if it meets the expectation on the other end. This will set you up for success, but it will also set the relationship up for success too. Because if a client is coming to you wanting something, some kind of monetary result that you know is pretty unrealistic, and you don't say anything about how unrealistic it is, and you don't actually think that you can deliver that in that time frame. Maybe you could deliver it, maybe it would take 6 months though instead of 6 weeks, but the client wants it done in 6 weeks. Whose fault is it and whose responsibility is it if no communication happens on what's possible and what the desires from the other end are? This is how you set up relationships to be something that lasts a really long time, being honest with people about what you can help them with, being honest with people about what the results are, but also the client taking responsibility and ownership of what their job in the relationship is, because it's a relationship. Even if you're delivering something to them, it's still a relationship, and there's still something that needs to happen on the other end in order for you to deliver it. For example, this podcast. I don't do the production side of this podcast. I do the recording, but all the snippets that you guys see online and the production piece of this, I have a production team that does it. I'm not actually doing it. If I was to expect that this podcast would be delivered, but I wasn't doing my part and I wasn't delivering the content, well, it's not possible that a podcast can be delivered, right? So every business client relationship has a two-way street. And one of the biggest patterns that I see coaches and agency owners and service-based businesses in is really feeling like they aren't delivering to the fullest extent possible of what their clients want. And they set themselves up to feel like they're failing, but they're not. And when they really break it down, when they're really honest with themselves about what's possible for the client, they're able to look at it through another lens. So it's not that they can't give them results. It's actually just that we've created a little bit of an online world with unrealistic expectations. But instead of operating from a place of abundance and communicating effectively on whether or not the expectation of the client or the person that's hiring you is asking for something that is realistic, having an abundant expectation, we are caught in a little bit of a trap of operating from the scarcity expectation. And that if we don't just say yes to everything that comes our way, then we're not going to get business. But as soon as we decide to say yes to something that we think is a little bit too unrealistic, and we keep quiet and we don't use our voice to build and maintain that clear channel of communication, we're immediately setting ourselves up for a pattern and a platform to fail. Because in our minds, we will never actually achieve the thing that's expected on the other end. So we know that it's unrealistic in the first place, but we haven't set the boundary in place. That's super important. Super, super important to give yourself a gauge. When you sign on a client, are they at a level 1, 2, or 3? What does a client at level 1 look like in your industry? What does that look like? Is it somebody that's just starting out? Is it somebody that already has a 6-figure business? What are the details of that person? And maybe if you're not a business owner, and you're not working B2B, you're working with health coaching clients, what does that person look like? Are they somebody that needs an astronomical amount of change, or are they someone that's looking to just clean up some areas of their life? Because if you have a gauge to say, well, this person, when they first started working with me, they were at a 1, I can help them get to a 2, and then you have another client that comes into your platform, they're starting off on a 2, maybe you can help them get to a 3. But you have set yourself up for success mentally because you're not expecting every single person that comes into your platform to get them to a 3, no matter where they're starting out. This removes the black and white thinking. For most business owners, it's all thought of in the same thing. It's like the same process. Like, I got somebody to this result this one time, so in my mind, that's what I've created, that everybody should see that same result. And we are setting ourselves up for a whole bunch of stress when we do this, because the reality is it's our job to effectively communicate what we can produce and what we can deliver to make sure to maintain those healthy relationships with our clients and maintain that channel of communication of what the expectations are on the other end too. That way we're not setting ourselves up in a little trap of failure. And it's okay to say, what your needs are. I might not be able to help you make that happen in this amount of time, but it is something we could do in double the time. And this is what we're really looking at. If you have someone coming to you that doesn't even know that they have a profitable offer, they haven't put it to market, nobody's bought it yet, it's going to take you a little longer to see what the results are that you can really help that business or client see. And effectively communicating that is your responsibility. But that gives you the opportunity to really grow in a way that will make you more profitable, because if you are super honest with people about what you can deliver, they will be happier in the long run. So it actually sets you up for more success, because keeping quiet and just nodding your head and hoping that you can deliver and then falling short, even though you knew it was something that wasn't probably possible in the first place, then you have an unhappy client. This is where effective communication in the beginning is super, super important. This is also looking at business from an abundant perspective, an abundant state, and not from a state of scarcity. I hope this was valuable to you. Until next time on the Abundantly Clear podcast.
Thanks for listening. As you put these concepts and practices into action, you'll begin to see the benefits of living an abundantly clear life. To connect with Malorie and other high performers, join the Abundantly Clear Entrepreneurs community on Facebook or visit Malorie-Nicole.com.